Yo guys, welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel, and here I am for a special preview episode with my guy Martino Puccio joining me from the US. What is up, my guy?
How you doing? So great to wake up in the morning, get a DM saying want to come on my YouTube channel. I was like, of course. Been watching and following for a while. You mentioned how Matt Santangelo's on it. I'm also friends with Perisnitch too, so he's excited because he's great too. And there's a bunch of like Inter people I love interacting with. So you're the main guy though that I know with the YouTube content. So
No,
it's awesome. It's awesome.
Cheers, appreciate that. But why don't you tell people a bit about what you do?
So basically I just been, podcasting, TV hosting, football stuff for a while. We obviously call it soccer over here, but I'm not going to say that to get people upset. So there was a bunch of gambling stuff I used to do too. I still like gambling a lot because it's a lot of fun. And then obviously the State of Play podcast that won the FCA with Matt Santangelo, who's been on here, as you mentioned, Pepperisha. And we recently just started with Milan Reports. Not sure how many Interisti go on there and check that stuff out. But we've been doing that post-match reviews on Twitch, as well as, weekly podcasts. Those are on Tuesdays. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been great.
Yeah, no, I'll get some like non-Interisti on my watchings and my stuff. There's Miguel, Miguel, he watches.
He's great, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I've been speaking to him about Milan all season. And yeah, just thought this morning I was like, who can I slide into the DMs of? And you're the first guy that I thought of. So yeah, hope you're feeling honored.
Absolutely,
yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Big match to preview, which was quite, it looked like, when the Coppa Italia draw was released, you could just see it coming. It was in the air, and here we are quickly. The turnaround this year for the Coppa Italia has been so quick. And tomorrow, evening time, UK time, and in the morning, I guess for you guys, or early afternoon, it's going to be Inter versus AC Milan in the Coppa Italia. And what are your thoughts going into this? Because a lot of Interisti are kind of conflicted over this. Is it the same for you, Milanisti, in terms of should you be, going for this seriously for the Coppa Italia?
See, I think it's a little different because you guys not being in the Champions League or any European competition anymore. I mean, it's really just this outside of the league, and you're not getting the two legs that you would get from time to time. It's so inconsistent in the competition. So, I mean, for you guys, I would like to take it seriously because at the end of the day, the trophy droughts, it's frustrating. I know it's got to be frustrating. We've only had a Super Cup in the past decade too, so it's barely anything over you guys. For this, with the money invested, you got to the Europa League final as well, and it's a little misleading with how you finished second in the league last year because it really was like, just making it up. Juve had it in the bag. But I would think that you guys would like to go for this. You have the depth for it. You're only going to be playing once a week. Like, you're not going to be playing the semifinal for a little bit after that. You'll be getting breaks in between. And listen, I think you're the favorites for this title. I really do. And, I love the position that we're in. I'm just happy to get top four. We don't really have the depth for it. The injuries have been terrible. I mean, listen, Mandzukic is already hurt, and he's been here for, a week, literally. So for us, I think it's a luxury to be in this. Like, if we beat you guys, that's great. It's always fun to do that. And I know vice versa, it's that way. Listen, I mean, at the end of the day, our objective's top four. Then we have Red Star in Europa League. It's getting difficult when it comes up to this. And, we're getting guys back from injury, but at the same time, we can't push them when they're returning. So for me, it doesn't matter what happens in this. If we win, it's great. If we get eliminated, it's not the end of the world. That means you guys have to play more games, at least 2 more, if you get that far. But, again, it's, at the end of the day, I think they're striving to do that because if they want to get back to what we used to be, you have to win competitions like this. You want to go deep in competitions and get used to the, squad rotation. A lot of fans aren't used to. They think like, none of these competitions matter and like you have to win. It's just very weird because there's a lot of younger fans on Twitter that didn't see the really good sides. They've only saw the real terrible ones of the past few years, so that they're conflicted. So I think for us it doesn't really matter, and I expect you guys to win this tomorrow too.
No, fair enough. Yeah, that's why I wanted to get your view on that. Because for me, I think we should go for the Coppa Italia. I don't understand Interisti or kind of looking down on it as like second grade competition. Because as you said, like the cup drought has been too long now. It's been since 2011, the last time we won, and it was the Coppa Italia. And like I don't understand why would you not want this trophy? Like now that we're out of Europe, there's not. Like I think people overestimate that thing about being out of Europe as in being such a big advantage, because those games don't kick in until mid-February or late February. So right now this is a good opportunity to take advantage of that, where everyone's on the level playing field at the moment, because no one's got Europe right now. So take advantage of that, and you guys are ravaged by injuries. Luckily for us now, it seems to be getting better now, because it was at the beginning of the season we were struggling with COVID and injuries, but it seems to be you guys now who are getting the rough end of the stick. So for me, as you said, I think we should definitely go for this. And depending on the lineup, I would agree this time that maybe we are slight favorites in this one going into this one, because if we're gonna go, it looks like Conte is not gonna rotate too much, because we just how Conte is. He doesn't really rotate too much. And we can see your lineup scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You got Diogo Dalot starting. Well, wait, let it go around.
Yeah. It's right on the back end of your lineup now.
There we go. So Tatarusanu in goal, Dalot at the back, Kaya and Romagnoli. Obviously, those are your starters anyway. Theo is starting, so that's pretty. Well, actually, that looks like a pretty good lineup to me. Salamakis, Diaz, Leo. Yeah, that looks like a pretty strong lineup to me, bro.
I think it's decent. I mean, the goalkeeper situation is scary. I know you guys have massive trust issues with Handanovic, but I mean, after what we saw Tatarusanu do against Roma that one match, we have a hard time trusting him. But he has to start anyways, because Gigio got the red card from the bench. Dalot's been inconsistent. Romagnoli gets destroyed by Lukaku. Everybody knows it. It's not a good matchup for him. Even though he kept Ronaldo in check many times, who's the greatest athlete the sport's ever seen. So but he's a different kind of athlete from Lukaku. I think everyone, one's a lot more powerful and taller. I don't know. I mean, Miete, he needs to bounce back. Obviously, him playing out of position isn't something I took away too much from. Salamakers, they still haven't lost a match with him in the starting lineup in all competitions, which is insane. Jeez. I think Hakan Çalhanoğlu is a huge loss. I think Brahim Diaz against your back three that you like to roll with it's not a great matchup for him. I mean, Ibra again. I just don't love starting him in this, because the Bologna match is on a Saturday, and he's coming off that injury, and even when he was came back to the training after the thigh injury against Napoli, he picked up another knock with his calf. So I'm a little worried about that. It sucks when you don't have Mandzukic in it. I would have probably preferred Leao up top and then just put Haug or Rebic on the left side. But if they want to take this competition seriously, and you know what, I get it, I respect it, but at the same time, I would have liked it more if we were 100% healthy, which we've never been this whole season. It's just been the one Napoli match was the strongest 11, and then Ibra got hurt, and then Benacer got hurt, and then it was, snowball effect. So I think it's good enough to challenge for 90 minutes, but I don't expect anything to convince me. I mean, the back three you have is perfect. I think Hakimi against Teo again he's got the advantage. Listen, it's just a better lineup. I'm surprised to see that Alexis is in over Lautaro. For me, Lautaro has probably been your most disappointing guy this year in terms of goal production. Just sometimes, I expected him to make a bigger leap. Barella made that leap as a player. Skriniar bounced back last year after the rough season last year. For him, he kind of stagnated. He didn't make that great leap that you would expect someone who's being evaluated at like what 110 million euros or whatever it was for Barcelona.
Yeah.
Like he's not there. He's really good, but I could tell like that's the frustration when Lukaku can't show up every match. That's not on him. Like you need Lautaro to do it, and it's just I could sense the frustration because you would expect him to be more consistent at this point because it's his third year now, and he's not 20, so like you would expect a little bit more. So I just wonder what the dynamic is there, because Sanchez has played great. I mean, I remember over the summer when they had the reboot, he was one of the best assist makers in all of Europe, not even just the league. So again, he's good enough too. I think they have enough. There's no Kolarov there, so that's really what matters, right? Because he cost you that derby.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Every Interista is happy about seeing this lineup is like, no, just checking if Kolarov's there, because that I mean, it was a little bit. I think it's a little bit harsh that we're blaming the whole loss on him, but at the end of the day, he was at fault for pretty much both of those goals.
I mean, you didn't create enough offensively, but I mean, you could have at least gotten a draw. You played well enough for a draw that match, but
yeah, we had enough chances for one goal at least. I think in looking back, but defensively, we just gifted you those goals like really bad defending. But we were defending like that the whole first 8 or 9 games. It was that 3-4-1-2 experiment that Conte was obsessed with for some reason, that just gave us no balance. We had a really high defensive line, just didn't really make sense. And now we've reverted back to the Conte ball that we know, sitting a bit deeper, waiting for the other team to come and counter-attack them, which I think will serve us better in this match as well, because in that match you guys were happy to do that. You guys were happy for us to like have most of the ball, and you guys just hit us on the counter like real quick.
On the first goal, with Silent Makers got the ball back and they sent it up, and then Leao just burst down the line, and then there was the assist. That was probably the best build-up play they've had in years anyway. So it came in that match.
Yeah, that was quick. But no, I'm more confident, like in terms of the lineup, as you said. That's our starting 3 centre backs. That's if we can't feel safe with those, then there's no hope for us. So I do feel safe for that. There's a few rumors that maybe there might be a place for Eriksen in there just because he played in the last Coppa Italia match. But honestly, I don't think that Regista experiment really worked. It worked on the ball. Like you could see, obviously, Eriksen's got the technical ability to play, those balls. I think, even Chanaloglu sometimes has played that role for you guys just because he can like technically play it. But then when you're defending, when you have to like, cover angles or mark players, you can just see he doesn't know what he's doing. And I don't think Conte will risk playing Eriksen in front of the defense against our arch rivals. So I don't see that happening. But we've got Stefano Sensi starting, which again, that's another one that I'm not sure whether will happen. He's the most injury-prone player I've ever seen in my life. Not because the injury is not even serious. He just gets like the most innocuous injuries.
Soft tissues,
Yeah, like hardened calf. I've never heard a player like not play a match for a hardened calf. But I hope he starts because I think he makes so much difference to our team. He's like, a little breath of fresh air in that midfield. He's so technical and creative. Because Barella, he's improving in that sense, but still, he's not really part of his game. Playing 1-touch, 2-touch play. He's a little bit more of a energetic powerhouse. But if he is that midfield there, Brozovic, Barella, and Sensi, I think again, I feel like that's a better midfield than Mate and Kessie. Even though Kessie, for me, 100%. I've always had a big weakness for Kessie, even in the early days at Milan. I always really liked him, and I'm really enjoying the way he's playing. Well, I'm not enjoying it as an Inter fan, but as a football fan, I feel like I said it to like a few of the Milan guys, and they kind of looked at me weirdly. But I said that he was like my player of the season a few matches ago, anyway. But I just like how consistent he is now. Like he seems to have his head screwed on now in terms of decision making, and he's not overcomplicating things like he was in the past. What do you think of Kessie?
I think the formation change in general worked wonders for everybody, because that what happened with Hakan too. He's a naturalized 10. He's not a left winger. They kept playing him at left winger, and then he was in the 4-3-3. He's a Mezzala. Like that's not his job. That's not really where he fits well. double pivot for Kessie's great. Like he doesn't have to run as much as he would have to when he was in the 4-3-3. He doesn't have as much responsibility offensively in the box, because he's rough there, right? As great as he is with his penalties, we've seen him sky some sitters, looking like Simone Zaza's penalties. Like they're just like he struggles with that. But you know what? Like that's where good managers come into play, where you put players where they're most successful in with their abilities, right? You don't put guys out of position where they struggle with, because that was the problem with Gianpaolo. He couldn't adapt to the players that he had. He was trying to force Suso as a number 10. The guy's clearly one-footed and he's slow as hell. He doesn't have any defensive track backing qualities. So for me, yeah, he's been fantastic. He's the most valuable one. He always plays. He's always healthy. Match after match, get a little worried about it down the road because he might burn out, like Essien did back in the day, because he was just playing so many matches. But yeah, he's physically as strong as anyone. Like he's one of the few players in the league that goes up against Lukaku as a midfielder, like that you could say like you're not that worried about it. And when he was with Benacer too, like he's carrying guys, like he had to play with Krunic. There was Calabria there as well. These guys who are not center defensive midfielders. When he's with Benacer, it's the best double pivot in Europe. If not, it's one of the best three. And then, Tonali too. The growing pains are going to be a thing. Everyone just thinks he's Pirlo day one, even though he doesn't play like him. It takes time. He just turned 20 back in May. So, and it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. We talked about Barella has pressure like that. Even Tonali had more hype than anyone. And for an outfield player, I don't think there's anyone for an Italian that's had more hype than him. I mean, Gigio is a goalkeeper, but he's had it since he was 16. It's different. Tonali, like, you're getting compared to one of the 5 best midfielders ever. You go to the club of your dreams. Like, it's a lot of pressure. And he's been inconsistent. So, I mean, that's who Kessie has to work with, on top of Benacer being hurt. So I thought he's been great. I think he's been one of the more valuable ones. I think he's been the second best midfielder in the league this year, only behind Barella. I think Barella's been that good because of what he does offensively, but it's close. I don't think it's like a wide gap that some would say. I think it's very close. And again, when healthy, these two sides have the best midfield in the league, in my opinion. That's just me. I think Juve, listen, they have some individual quality, but in terms of just, when their whole midfield plays together, like, it's
we saw against Inter. It wasn't quite good enough. They got outplayed by Inter's midfield. Bentancur, Rabiot doesn't really ignite, this much in your, as a football fan. Or maybe Arthur, if they can, get him integrated.
I mean, properly. But the amount of money that they've spent for those guys, they're not even close to the quality that you would expect. Like Rabiot's getting paid more than any midfielder, probably Eriksen, if you consider that, right? He's the only other one. Like Brozovic, like just as good, better than Arthur, you could argue, even Rabiot. I mean, Ramsey too, with what they did. But I mean, listen, we could rip on Juve all day if we want, but I know we're here to talk otherwise.
No, man. Like in terms of this match, I'm a bit more confident than I thought I was gonna be, because I felt like Conte was gonna like ditch the Coppa Italia off, but he talked about it after Udinese. It wasn't a great result, but then he said like heads to the Coppa Italia now, and it seems like from the predicted lineup it's gonna be quite strong. So I'm pretty confident going into this, and I'm gonna predict. I'm gonna predict a 2-1 win for Inter. What do you reckon? I
was thinking this yesterday, even before you invited. I was like, I'm just feeling 2-0 for you guys.
2-0.
I don't see us scoring. Not with this lineup. I'm not even sure how much Ibra is gonna be playing. I don't expect him to play the full 90. I think it's unwise. We got to take advantage of what we've been doing the whole season and beating sides like Bologna, right? Like that's how we separated from you. I think it means more for you guys. You did gain the point on us, so now the gap's only 2. It does feel like a missed opportunity, but you easily bounce back with morale, where you knock us out of this competition. You had the biggest win in Serie A for you guys against Juve in years. Like, your morale is still high. You didn't lose against Udinese, and Udinese give issues for everybody. Right?
Yeah,
it's not like it's just the only side. It's not a Spezia, right? It's frustrating. I get it. But listen, that's not how you win the league, right? It's not just one match. It takes weeks and weeks. Juve, we're not all convinced by. They did okay this month. Even the win that they had over us, the amount of players we were missing in that, it was like 7 starters. You know, I don't take too much away from it. And even the Atalanta thing too. I wouldn't worry too much about what Atalanta did against us. We were missing 5 key players. Like, they should beat us. They're going deep in the Champions League. Like, they have the best attack in the league. Like, if they're not beating us 3-0, then I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, so I mean, listen, I think you're in a really good spot, and if you win this, morale comes high, because then, like you said, then it's just the week by week games. Like, they prep for those matches. Lukaku is a little bit more rested. Sensi's eased back in. I just think the one thing looming, and it's very difficult to get rid of Eriksen. Like, if they could get rid of him somehow, I think that's good. Because right now, when you're putting him in with 8 minutes left in a match, it's a slap in the face. You want him to play a different position, which I don't even think he has to be fully committed to that. He played one position his whole career. Now the club that he thought he would be dominating for at his naturalized position, they want him to revert back. And, you know, I just don't think that relationship's great between him and Conte. I think it's clear. Like, you rather not put him on at all than put him in for 8 minutes. Or what was the one match where he came in for maybe less than that, right? I think
it was the Bologna game.
It's something like that. Yeah, exactly. So you could just tell, like, the relationship there. And, you know, Conte is that kind of guy that would do that. So, like, it's not something I'm surprised by. I think if you fix that situation and Lautaro gets rolling, I think it's your title to lose. And they should. It should be theirs, right? I mean, Juve struggling like this, you know, it's one thing that I don't know, maybe the gods want us to win this year. I have no idea. But you should absolutely finish above Juve. And I think it could be really bad if you do end up losing it. And I don't want to say that just because you're our rivals, but I think it's to that point. Like, this is it. Like, this is the opportunity. This is the best chance. Juve is going to make their run like usual, but it's a good enough gap right now that they could do this.
Yeah, but I don't like this, bro. You're like putting all the pressure on us.
It should though.
Look at me in the eyes, Martino, man to man. You're up there. You're first now, 2 points clear. Don't tell me that your aim now is not changed from top 4.
Our aim. The aim is you should always want to win. We're a club like that we should aim to win that, and I want to win that. My expectation is top 4. I don't see that. I don't think we have enough depth. If we get healthy, who knows? Because we beat the teams that we're supposed to beat. It's just, let me know if we beat you guys again in the derby. If we beat you again in the derby, then there's something there, right? But we need to step up and repeat that consistency, because it's not a fluke what we're doing.
No.
This has been over 30 something matches, and the matches that we have lost, we're missing at least 5 starters in both of them against sides that are Champions League quality. So it's not even like, oh, Milan looks terrible here and there. It's like, no, they're beating the teams they should beat when they're healthy. They've been healthy one time all season, the strongest 11.
Yeah.
You know, it's so for me though, but I just think you guys have more quality in depth in general.
Yeah.
11 wise, strongest 11. It's still a little bit stronger, but ours is very good. I just think it's your time, because our timelines, you know, with your ownership, with Morata, with the investments that you've had, you're ahead of us like a year or two, and that's what it's been for since probably Tohir got there, right? When it kind of slowly started turning around. We've been like fun, like we didn't even know if our owner was a real person at one point. So I mean, you know, it takes time. So I think we're ahead of schedule, but
you're well ahead of schedule, because I predicted you guys to finish 4th, and you know, as the season keeps going on, I keep, you know, saying like, okay, if they beat these guys, then they're the real deal, and you keep doing it. I mean, until recently, you guys just didn't seem like you could lose, so I just had to recalculate everything, and Pioli, man, just tip my hat down to Piolo, because that whatever he's doing there is amazing. Because players like Salamakers, you know, these like Brahim Diaz, you know, these guys are overperforming in terms of, you know, what you'd expect from them.
Yeah.
But you know how you was talking about Lautaro earlier?
Yeah.
Who's been like the disappointment for you guys?
Disappointment. I mean, everybody's just been overperforming, right? So it's really hard to point towards one player. In terms of I really, it's kind of hard to say. I guess Tonali to an extent, but then again, it's a little different, compared to Lautaro. I mean, Ibra's been amazing. Leao's made strides. Hakan's been great. Kessi's been amazing. Calabria. I guess, like, you could say Romagnoli at points been struggling for me. I think of the guys that you would rely upon the most and expect more out of. He's probably been the most underwhelming is Romagnoli. And that's my favorite player. I just expect a lot out of him now because he just turned 26. You're the captain. You want an extension soon too. You want to get paid like one of the best defenders in the league. You can't be that inconsistent where, you have certain moments where you're making great slide tackles against Ronaldo in a cup match and then Lukaku's bodying you. Like, you're the captain of Milan. You're not the captain of Roma. No offense to, aside from Totti. Like, the expectations are much different. So you got to step up and be consistent every single match, especially if you want to win the title and you want to play Champions League football. So for me, it's really only him, but he's turned it around. He's had good matches. He was just an idiot against last match where he got the yellow card when he didn't have to get one, and you missed Atalanta where you have to play a 20-year-old Kalulu. And that. So I think everyone else has been overperforming. He's been a little underwhelming at times. Tonali as well. Samu Castillejo, listen, he's not underwhelming. This is what I expect from him. He's not a player. He's not a Milan quality, right? So you can't be let down if you expect something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's like Inter fans with Gagliardini. He's like, this is we don't have any expectations. I don't know how you guys could live with him after that miss last year. That's still the worst miss I've ever seen in my life. Why are you gonna remind me, bro? I canceled that. I deleted that from my memory. But,
man, yeah.
So you're saying victory for Inter? Then you're predicting a victory for Inter.
I think victory for Inter. Listen, I would expect a long, hard-fought match. I do think you'll score first and in the first half. But it's going to be one of those matches where it's a close 1-0, and then you eke out like a second goal towards the end after like Milan gets tired. Like, if they're not going to be bringing on Mandzukic and Tonali's not available, the longer the match goes on, Milan's got to sub guys off because if that match is out of control, like, you got to get ready for Bologna. You can't have the guys because it's a Saturday match, so it's not much. It's a quick turnaround again, and then you got to start worrying about Europa League. So I expect Inter to be in full control of this one. Especially if the lineups are rolling out that we're seeing right now. I think this is it. I think Inter's going to be gearing for a double this year. I think they're in good position for it. And that's what you should be gunning for at this point, especially after the Champions League thing. I would be pissed off. You pay Conte that much money per year, like, you better give me a double, especially with Juve looking the way they do. Like that's it. But it's only a good thing, though. It's a good thing to have these type of expectations because,
it's nice. It's a nice change.
Part of the reason why Juve has been dominating because we've both been incompetent for nearly a decade. These are the two clubs with the resources, or they should have the resources to do this. So, and it's nice to see something different. I prefer just the Coppa Italia because if you win the title, you go ahead of us now, 19-18, which I don't want to see. That's the only thing. No offense.
Well, you've put in the double jinx now. You said we're gonna win the double, so
I think you can win the double. I don't know if you will. It's tough, but I think the league is yours, and you're the betting favorites too. I tell this to Naj. You're the betting favorites now because I got him into gambling a little bit. So you're both. You and Juve are both ahead of us. We're the third favorite for it. Because a lot of people don't expect us to keep doing this. I understand. Yeah, I mean that was
the thing since the beginning. It was the squad. The squad was the main reason. The squad depth was the main reason that people were putting you third or fourth. But you guys are just, as you said, every single player is overperforming. Even the guys who were supposed to be, Kalulu, a guy who hasn't even played professional game before Milan, and this guy's come in like he's a seasoned professional.
Yeah, and that's a crazy thing too, because a lot of people like to rip on Pioli for past accomplishments or lack thereof. When has he ever had a strong side this strong?
Yeah.
Never. I never thought like Lazio. Okay, he got him into. I think they lost to Gladbach in the qualifiers for the Champions League when it used to be the third team had to go to the playoff round.
Yeah, Leverkusen.
Yeah, Leverkusen. Sorry, I knew it was a German side. Would Inter listen? Those Inter sides. No, there was no stability. How many managers did you guys run through all the time? Yeah. And they were pretty decent managers. Fiorentina, who survives there? Who does well there?
Well, we've seen that compared to the other guys, he did quite well at Fiorentina.
He did great, and he saved them from a disaster. Montello couldn't figure it out. Beppe Bianchini's terrible. He's got the worst match outfit ever with the hat with the suit is the dumbest thing. Like, I get it if it's raining, but I mean, it's sunny days and he's got a hat on. For me, yeah. I mean, listen, this is the strongest one, but he's got to manage the rotations well. There's sometimes he overthinks, but he's not too stubborn. We'll see. I'm happy for top four. I just want to get to Champions League, and then things start slowly turning like they did for you guys. So yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for that. I think that kind of wraps it up. We're both predicting it Inter win, so obviously Inter are gonna lose now. So thank you.
I'm gonna get roasted. People hate when I go against us. I'm just realistic. I just see what I see. Like, if we had our strongest 11, maybe I would pick us to win just because I have to. But
I appreciate that. That realism and being not being just a fanboy and just going for saying
I can't look into the camera and lie. Like, how many people watch your stuff? I can't do that because they see my Twitter handle now. Like, it's not gonna go well if I get arrogant like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll leave all your Twitter handle and all that stuff in the description below. So make sure check out Martino's stuff. Milan reports and all his Twitter account's pretty good follow as well. He does some funny tweets here and there. I've been nominated for Who Won Calcio Twitter, a few times. Yes, that's why we watch the Serie A. And tomorrow we'll be tuning in for this Coppa Italia derby. And yeah, thank you, Martino, for coming on. And make sure everyone to leave your predictions down below in the comments. Your thoughts on, do you agree with Martino as Lautaro being the disappointment of the season? And yeah, just whatever your thoughts are on the match tomorrow, and make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you for the post-match reaction, which hopefully me and Martino both got right. Ciao everyone.